Hello, guys. How are you? Welcome back to our Existential Program Marathon. So, we are here today to talk about the Existential Program. We are all volunteers at APEX, International Association of the Existential Program, and we are dedicated to studying and researching everything there is about life, the purpose of life, or existential program. Okay? Well, that brings me to our principle of disbelief. Please do not believe in anything you hear here or that you watch in this life. Have your own experiences, okay? We want you to experiment. We want to hear your opinions, your observations, your research. So please put the comments in the area comments, okay? The comment area, okay? All right, guys. So far in our marathon, we spoke about the existential program itself. We spoke about the parapsychism and that relation between parapsychism and the existential program. We also talked about birth, death, and the existential program. And today's topic is a little bit related to last week's. We are going to talk about pandemic and the existential program. So I would like to welcome our guests, Ana Lu Galotti. Hi.
Hi, Ellen. Good
Hey.
evening. Hi, everyone. I don't know what happened.
Oh no. The internet. Let's
I'm so glad to be
oh,
here again. Our fourth live today.
and I am really glad you're here with us today, Ana Lu.
Thank
It's
you.
really nice to see you. All right, let's welcome Larissa Impérico.
Hi, Ellie. So good to see you again.
Hi.
I'm glad to be here with you guys again. I hope we have a great evening ahead of us.
Oh, yes, I think we will. I mean, it's a different topic, but we can actually learn a lot about it. So,
Of course, yeah.
Marcelo Pires, how are you, Marcelo?
I'm doing well, Helen. Good to see you, and welcome everybody to this fourth live.
Yeah, we are we are doing it. Okay, so guys, I would like to start as usual, making my own question, which is more a comment than a question. Well, we are going to speak about pandemic, and we all know it's a difficult time to a lot of us. But considering the consciential paradigm, I'd like to ask you guys: is this our first pandemic? Is this the first time we're living through a pandemic?
Yeah, it's an interesting point, Helen, because if you consider the consciential paradigm, okay, we have multiple dimensions, we have multiple lives, we have multiple vehicles of a manifestation of bodies. Okay, so most likely it's not our first pandemic experience. Okay, in previous lives, this could have been also something that moment could be very traumatic for us, and then we could be repeating it. If you look only 100 years towards the past, we have the Spanish flu that it affect strongly all over the world in a period that we also had not only the pandemic, but there was a war going on. So this kind of experience, there is a high probability that it's not definitely the first time. Okay, and then we need to understand that sometimes the perception that we have for this environment, that's not only what we see, around us with these lockdowns. Okay, a lot of people passing away, a lot of people sick. Okay, the pursuit of the science after the vaccines and a proper medication to the people. So this is an advantage that we have in this time, that the science is more advanced.
Yeah.
Okay, that period, previous periods, could be really what I said, more traumatic, because the only way that we had it was try to run away or to hide from that dangerous situation, or if the person get infected, to have a strong immune system that could overcome that challenging that situation itself. And so we need to understand that several times we can have this experience of the pandemic, and then we feel some irrational or over reactions that could not only be the exposure that we have to the current situation, but also some kind of overcoming from the past lives. Sure. Okay.
Ana Lu, Larissa, would you like to say something about it?
Yeah, I believe pandemic was a shock for all of us. Even, the most skeptical person, there was some impact on their lives. And I think that's the reason why we are here today, to debate that, but trying to bring a different point of view, so a more complex view of the pandemic together with the consciential paradigm. But try and focus on the positive. So try and see what we can do to have a good well-being. We're going to speak about this in a couple of minutes, and try and focus on our self-research, what we can do in regards to our existential program. So I think that's very important. We are here. There's a totally different focus, and there are many things we can debate and many issues we can speak about inside that.
I agree with Larissa and Marcelo. The pandemic is an opportunity to all of us to rethink, to reevaluate our lives, and to try a new path, because Marcelo said about the stress and the post-traumatic stress. We are going to talk, I guess, with Larissa, speaking about well-being. But what I was saying before is that we have this reality of post-traumatic stress, but we also have the opposite of it. In psychology, there is a term that is post-traumatic growth. Okay, so after a trauma, what we see, what research shows, is that a lot of people report some kind of psychological growth. Okay, where a person can experience a new level of meaning of life, relationships going well, and this would not happen if this trauma hasn't been present in our lives. So pandemic is an opportunity for us to be better from now on. I think the question is, who do you want to be after this pandemic? So think about that and start right now, because this is a great opportunity.
And Analu, can I add something? Is I think that most of the time we get the focus on the hard or the difficult part, okay, and then we do not consider the benefits that we have from that situation. I would say that the pandemic, the same way that had a lot of challenging situations, it provides to the people also more time to do this reflection that you mentioned, to think about the life, and to do more reading, more chatting with people that are nearby, and also it's a kind of paradox, because at the same time that we are far away from the people, I think that more than ever we start to engage more with the people. So
Yeah, us being here is an example of it, because before the pandemic, we would probably doing our things. Everyone in, I don't know, Larissa in London, Marcelo, where are you again?
United States, close to Latin.
Along with Ellen, me being here in Brazil. So the pandemic gave us this opportunity for us to be together and speaking about something that we like. But also, we cannot minimize the impact. People are suffering from several ways of grief, and this is bad because we are going to have to deal with this. The shattered goals that we have to experience every day. This is a bad thing because it is a reality. So I can just think positive, but we can give a new meaning to all of those losses that we are experiencing. Okay, so make a good thing of something that unfortunately is not that good. Okay, so I think this is the most important when we think about this pandemic.
There's another thing I would like to comment as well, because I think COVID broke something that we call in conscientiology the existential robotization, or the robaxis. So we all, as society, we used to live as robots, let's put like this, in the automatic mode. And then COVID was very good in a way of breaking this. So all of us, we were forced to stop, we were forced to go home and to think about our lives, even if you didn't want to do that. So I think this is one good way, if we can put this way. Of course, COVID is not good at all, but then we are trying to make the best of the experience. And one of the good things that happened was that we could break the robotization that we were before that as society.
Um, I'd like to add something about the self research and this interconsciential, as we say, perspective of how we experience the pandemic, or how we experienced possible pandemics before this one. But I would like to add an ingredient to the debate that just came to my mind. Um, we we can actually even further our own self research if we think about the holokarma of the nations and why one nation was so deeply impacted, and when another one actually they went through the first wave and now they are protected somehow. So I believe that some people might think, why is this happening to my country and not another one? Why am I going through this, right? Do you guys have anything to say about that?
I think it's a quite complex subject, to be honest. I think we will need a lot more than 40 minutes to debate this one.
But I would add the following, Helen. That's a very good question, and we need to remember that what's the virus? The virus, it's a micro intruder. Okay, so it's a micro uh, killer. Okay, so the virus, it's going to spread from person to person without considering the any conscientiological evolution
Background.
level, any
Yeah.
background,
Financial situation, yeah.
financial, language. So it's that is one important aspect about taking care of yourself. Okay, taking good care about the use of social distance, if possible, masks, vaccines, washing the hands, hygiene, all these kind of things. But when you're talking about holocarm of nations, that's the moment that we have the opportunity to have positive deposits or not on these accounts, because you have companies and you have countries uh, researching about the vaccines. Let's get it as a good example.
That's a great
And,
one.
and then how do you manage and how do you distribute these vaccines?
Hmm.
It's only for the profit, or are we distributing the vaccines considering the benefit of the humanity, no matter the connections, the borders that we have between the countries? Uh, One person that would like to bring back the memory at this moment would be Albert Sabin. So Albert Sabin, that's an interesting his story about him, because there were two different researchers that were looking for the polio vaccine, and end up that he went ahead of the other one. And the moment that he registered his vaccine, he took a decision and he looked around and said, if I deposit a patent and get benefits from it, I'm going to have a lot of money, but I'm not going to eradicate this disease around the world. So he made the vaccine free of patent. Okay, so any country, any company could manufacture the vaccine following the recipe that he created. Okay, so this one example. When you think this holocarm of nations, what are the direction that I go? I go in the direction that I providing a greater benefit for the humanity, or am I using it for control? So that's the difference between going in direction of the benefit of the polykarma and going to direction of a big interprison among several people. And then we have a proven example, someone in the 20th century that came and make something completely, let's say, outstanding of his life, on his life in the pro of the humanity.
Yeah, I guess adding to what you just said, it is time for us to look into ourselves and from and especially even try to validate it through other people's perspectives during this pandemic. For example, if you know someone that's either sick or going through something, know someone, how do you react to that? I think that's the biggest question that we have to ask ourselves. I don't know if you guys agree with that. How am I contributing somehow, right?
Yeah, it's the opportunity of working with assistance. So when you think about existential program, one of the key parts of the existential program is that you organize and you plan your activities in life, your tasks, also to assist other people. So these events, like a pandemic, like any crisis that you have, that's a call for action. Okay, am I really engaging and helping other people or not? Do I have the opportunity to do that? Sometimes we have it, sometimes not. So it's a one thing that each one of us needs to do some reflection about. Okay, how active I am? Am I doing what I'm doing? That's enough, or do I have the option to do the extra mile? Okay, so that's something that I would like to bring it and
And
to
I
the
think
table here.
even sometimes if you're not, people can just think, I'm not in the front line assist, I'm not working for a hospital, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nurse, so there's nothing I can do. But actually, sometimes just speaking to some of your loved ones or friends or someone you may know, just talk to them, give them a call, provide emotional support. The older people, see if they need anything. Maybe you can go to the supermarket, bring them something, some food, so they don't have to leave the house and expose themselves to the virus. So I think there are a lot of small things that we can do that we have the tools to do, and sometimes we don't see it. So sometimes we don't realize, we just want to do something really big, like helping, saving lives. But look, sometimes just speaking to a friend that is not well is a big thing you can do for now. I think this is one good thing to bear in mind as well.
And wearing the mask, it's a nice way to start.
Exactly. Give the
Because it's a
example.
way to protect ourselves and the loved ones. So I think it's a good way. And maybe Marcelo could bring now the concept of cosmoethics, because I think it would be great, especially because you've spoken about interprison. I don't know if it was Marcelo or Ellen, but the pandemic gives us the opportunity to be more cosmoethic and or not. And this happens also through our thoughts. So maybe we could bring those concepts of Thosin and cosmoethics to, spice a little bit our life.
Yeah, let's talk first about Tosin, and then we can expand about to the cosmetics. Okay, so one thing that's important, that everything that we think has a sentiment and an energy connected. Okay, so when you have emotion, also you're thinking something with that emotion, and you have also energy. So conscientiology uh, gets covers these three elements together, and we consider it like a really jointed. Okay, they jointed. That's not a good term, but really connected. The three. That's what called tosin: thoughts, sentiments, and energy. So in this kind of environment, I can go to a place and or stay at home and start to get connected with like negative news, and then start to get depressed. So I've generated some kind of sad feelings, sad sentiments, and energies linked with that, and then that kind of two scenes start to influence the people that are around me too. So one thing that's really important is not to suppress what you're feeling, but understand what you're feeling and working to what is the uh, a better approach or a different angle that we can have on that particular thoughts and sentiments that you have. So this helps, okay, to keep control or to to move in the right direction your energy. And something very serious is that in an environment like the pandemic, we have like not one person, but we can have like hundreds of thousands or millions of persons that having, for example, negative feelings in a region or sadness or whatever. And this starts to build the toxins of each one starts to kind of getting together. And then you start to build a holotocin that could be more homeostatic, more healthy, or more pathological. Okay. So the attention to have uh, your thoughts not always on the negative, that's something that it's part of our health when we look to ourselves looking under the consciential paradigm. Like it's important to keep yourself informed about what's going on when we talk about pandemic. But if you go in that vicious cycle to only read about pandemic, it's a way to get you connected to energy and to sentiments and thoughts that you kind of drag you down. Okay, so it's a point that you have attention.
In the least, it will bring you a lot of anxiety, just for starters. So,
Oh,
right?
yes, and then if you're a little bit more sensitive, okay, you can feel these patterns showing up even without having contact with the people. So, and it could be fear, anxiety. Okay, there are several, uh, let's say, basic sentiments, basic feelings that we have that are very common on this kind of situation. In
I
this kind
remember feeling this watching the news because, especially when they are, giving the numbers about COVID, and I felt some, a weight, a fear that is not easy to explain. But it is necessary to be informed, as Marcelo said, but to balance with good news because there are good things happening in this pandemic. So I I may give you an example. I saw next week um, a Portuguese teacher offering free lessons for people who want to learn how to write and to speak a little bit better in Portuguese. And this is so good because it's a way to use his free time to help people. So we all can do something like this. We all can, I don't know, offer our time to talk to someone or to do little things that may do the difference.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting what Analu just said, and I think this is another good thing of the pandemic. I think people are very creative, and they will try and teach the things they knew. So you could see, let's say, in social media, people teaching how to cook, how to do makeup, how to fashion, so things they liked, and trying to focus on positive things they liked, and they sometimes had the ability to do, and they would just share with others. And I think this is just amazing, and this is good news as well. So it's not just about reading who is dying, who is not dying, what's going on in the hospitals. We should be aware of things, but we need to know the limit, our limit. So we all need to know ourselves, and we are all different. We have different needs, and sometimes our limit is to read the news once per week. Okay, that's fine. Or sometimes I'm gonna even ask a relative to just keep me updated in the most important things because I feel overwhelmed when I see the news myself. And I think this is a very important moment as well to respect our feelings, respect our needs, and everything that we just think is overwhelming, we just, is fine. We should respect ourselves.
Okay, guys, let me read some of the comments we have so far. We have hi, have a great talk to everyone from Loshi. Hello from Eliane. Hello from Simone and Eduardo Zanella. Good evening, guys. Watching from Chapecó, Charles, and can you guys guess? Edison is back. Remember Edison
Oh,
Drago?
welcome,
That's
Edson.
great. That's great.
Yeah,
welcome back.
Nice to have you here.
he's saying thanks for this opportunity. Oh, Marcio Niemeyer is here too, learning with you guys. Andrea Chatalofi. And Edison actually has two questions, but they are related to each other. And I believe that it has a lot to do with what you guys just said. I don't know, I may be wrong. Let's see. These last statements brought a question to my mind. Is there a virus's purpose, or did it happen and now it's our task to find results out of it?
Okay, I think we should start again with principle of disbelief, and to make everyone aware we are not here to, give answers for everything, because some of the things and most of the things we don't know the answer. I think this is a good a good start. But as I was going to say, we can, make ourselves this question. This is quite important, but I think the main thing is to look to ourselves and how can I make my life better. I think this is a more healthy approach to this, because otherwise we will just keep wondering and thinking about it, and that's okay. But our purpose here is to make you guys think about how this impacted your life. So how, like Analu said, What do you want to be after pandemic? What do you want to change in your life? How was this for you? Some people were in crisis, and nobody is free of living something like this. We are all humans, but I think the main thing is to have the focus on ourselves, not in a selfish way, but in a way of doing self research and trying to have a more, mental somatic approach to our life, if I can put this way. I don't know, Ana Lu and Marcelo's thoughts on this.
I think the first part of his question, is there a virus purpose? We can't answer this because it is a very complex question. But I agree with Larissa. Um, but I think as well that, the things we live, somehow they are outcomes from our choices as community, as, people who are doing things every day, and every choice we made has an outcome as a result. So the first part of the question, we can't guess, but our task could be find positive results out of it. Yes, of course, because everything we can do here, we can think about doing it well, doing it right. So before Marcelo was explaining about Thosin, we brought this notion of cosmoethics. So when we think about ethics and moral by the intraphysical way, we are basically thinking about the rules, how to live with each other in society. But when we talk about cosmoethics, we are speaking about some moral code of the cosmos. So everything we do, and especially everything we think, and now this is why it's so important, this notion of Thosin, it has some kind of impact in our group, in our energies, and around us. So, yes, I think our task is make some positive result about it. I don't know if Marcelo wants to add something.
Well, I would say that if we look through a different angle, okay, the virus itself, it has a purpose, okay? It will not be a purpose that it's good for us, okay, not necessary, okay? That virus, it's also an initial being that it's alive or getting alive, and then you evolve sometimes to something else, okay? So the nature have, in my opinion, and that's, don't believe what I say, okay, but it's just a perspective. It has, let's say, challenging situations, dangerous situations like virus. We have storms, okay, hurricanes, all these kind of things. So these will affect us. And as Larissa and Ana Lu said, I think that the biggest part here, the key part is that we learn from this experience, try to evolve, try to get the best of us from this experience. And if the virus really it's something that's kind of planned, or that's just something that's happening by chance, I absolutely have no idea about what would be.
I think another thing we could comment that might be important to many of us is that the pandemic brought as well many disagreement. So disagreement between people on the position about many things, as we know, masks, vaccines, how to deal with the virus, travel or not to travel, stay at home, to leave the house or not, social distancing, all of these things. And I think sometimes it's very tricky and very difficult. We can struggle to deal with these differences. So it is important to mention the admiration disagreement binomial. So this is a binomial where I can disagree with the person, but I don't take it personally. And I know that in some other ways, I might admire this person. So I don't, I see the person as a whole. I don't take it personally in case the person doesn't agree with me. And I think it's important as well. Let's say, for instance, if I have a certain position about something, to give the example. So to be the example on that thing to others instead of keep criticizing and becoming an intruder in a way, because I would just keep having my those scenes, as Marcelo was saying, and then they will be not as good as they could be. And then I might get lost on it because, especially if I'm not well and I start thinking about everything, I might feel overwhelmed and try and um, try to blame someone, and then try and find someone who is responsible for it. And unfortunately, uh, there is no one responsible at this point. And even if it was, there's no point on doing that. So I think this is a very important thing, and also to think with ourselves, how am I dealing with the disagreements I'm having in this pandemic? Could I deal in a better way or not? I think this is a good question for all of us.
All right, guys. There is another question for Madison, but I believe I'm not sure. I think you guys already answered it. Okay? It is these purposes can be collective. We've already talked about it. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there is another question, a comment from Marcio. Many technological advancements in communication and remote work online was expedited by this pandemic as one example of a positive outcome.
Yes, very good comment, Marcio. You're totally right on this. I think this is, even for conscientiology, as Analu were saying, making
Yes,
this life
I totally
possible.
agree.
Yeah, very good. Thank you.
And then one thing that's important to think is that all this technology that was generated right now, we are going to have further improvements in the future.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
So if with the technology we can have further improvements in the future, why not we can look to ourselves and think about, okay, what are the upgrades that I can do with myself?
Yeah, it's true. Guys, time is flying. I just would like to say some things about well being before we finish. Uh, I just have some tips for us. And as I was saying, don't believe in anything I'm going to say. This is my opinion, my thoughts. I'm here to debate with you guys. But I brought some tips on how to deal with this pandemic and how to have a better well being in this situation. So I think the first one is to respect our feelings, as I said. So our feelings, our emotions, our needs, and to try and do the same with other people. Try and understand that sometimes my needs are different from other people's needs. So let's say if I'm an extrovert, I want to talk to people the whole day because I feel lonely. Some other people might need space, and I might need to be on themselves, and I need to respect that. So try and be respectful with ourselves and with others. As we spoke about assistance, so try and assist ourselves first, always, and then try and assist other people, even in tiny little things you can do in your day. Smile to someone, say hello to your neighbor, go for a walk, socially distance if possible, with someone, but try and assist other people in many ways you can think of. Maybe, as we were saying as well, teach something on social media that people might like. So this is one of the good things as well. Another important thing is maneuver our energies. This is very important because, as Marcelo said in the previous lives, when he explained the different bodies, our energetic body is a very important one, and usually we don't give full attention to it. So it's very important to do the vibrational state, to exteriorize our energies, and to try and keep a healthy energetic field around us if possible. Okay.
Okay.
Look after our health as well. Oh, sorry, Marcelo, you want to say something?
Yeah. I just want to say, okay, a question? What's vibrational state, Larissa? Because we have, for example, Edson that's just saying here, remember, I'm a newbie.
Yes, of course. Sorry. So, okay, we have our energy. So we have some basic maneuvers. If Marcelo can help me with this one.
Yeah,
Uh,
I can. It's vibrational state, that's is a moment that you have the potentialization of all your energies that you have in your energetic body. Okay, so you can achieve it through different techniques. One of the technique is to focus all the energy by your will to have accumulate on your head and starting to going from the head to the feet, passing through all the parts of the body, and pay attention on the perceptions that you have, and then bring it back to the head and again to the feet and so on. And you accelerate the frequency that you're doing it. You start slow and then you accelerate until you start to feel all your body vibrating. Okay, that's the moment that we say that we got to the vibration state. Uh, Very quickly here, we can recommend some reading about what you can do with it, because typically we take like some minutes, like 5 minutes to explain in details about what it is.
We have videos on YouTube as well, if you're interested. We have books to download for free. So in case you have any questions, we can even send the link or put the link in the comments. That's absolutely fine. So another thing I would say to you guys is that look after your health as possible. So have a good diet, make exercise, and appreciate your health. Because now that we are seeing so many people getting ill, going to hospital and everything, it's very important to appreciate our bodies and to look after it. And also to look after the loved ones, if possible. That's another good thing. And then to finalize, because we are speaking about purpose of life, this is the purpose of life marathon. So make this opportunity a very good opportunity to focus on your praxis, on your purpose of life. So if you have a spare time, if you have some free time, try and dedicate to it. So try and think about other ways of accomplishing your praxis. Think about anything you'd like to change in your life, maybe change your career, maybe change to another city. So I think we should make the best of this opportunity. I'm not sure if Analu would like to add anything regarding the well-being.
Yeah, I think because sometimes we talk so much about existential program, purpose of life, and what I noticed is that sometimes a person may not know what she's meant to be, and it could cause some kind of anxiety, to what is my purpose of life? I don't know. What am I going to do now? So if you have no idea what is your existential program, no problem. Try to find what you like. Um, Make a self research on your values, what is important to you. Try to find some significance in your life, like doing something to help, as Larissa said, and gave many various of examples of it. Um, and especially about the relationships, because relationship is what helps us to go through a lot of difficulties in our lives. So start to appreciate the good traits of the person that is around you, people around you. Enjoy those moments, like breakfast together, lunch together, the small things in the day, but that makes difference. Enjoy these little moments because they are so important. And Ellen, I think our time is over.
Oh my goodness, my computer just died and it's fully
That's
charged.
fine. It's good that
It's
you're
okay.
back.
It's okay. Welcome back.
What did I miss? No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Uh, all right. So, guys, are you guys, do you guys have anything else to say, the three of you?
Yeah, I think just invite everyone for next week's
All right.
live again on Thursday. Okay, same time we are gonna be here. We are waiting for you guys. We have as well our course in Portuguese on the 18th. You can find more information on our website. And then on the 25th, we have our course in English. We are waiting for all of you guys.
All right, guys. So, I'd like to thank you all for joining. And if you are not subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel so you can actually be updated on new advanced results on parexology research. Edison, I kept thinking about your question. It feels like you already have the answer. So we are going to recommend some books in the description. Okay, you may find them interesting. I think they have some interesting information about what you asked. So if not today, tomorrow at the latest. Okay, we'll have those things in the description box. Guys, thank you so much. I am really happy to be here with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, guys. Was
It's a
so nice
great
being here.
privilege.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
All
you all.
right. All right, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Bye
Bye
Good night.
bye.
bye.
Bye.